In this part of the Rocks Guide, I'll discuss the current strategies that people are using to get the fastest casual kills. With all the recent changes and additions to the gear, with invention and essences, along with the actual changes to the boss, such as the removal of walking, there's a very obvious lag between the people who know the old strategies and those who use the new ones. This will hopefully help people that are a little behind catch up to speed. Anyways, at Ross we can group the rotations in their individual brother configurations into 4 basic sides. First, we have Aram plus 2 melee sides, which always occur with Carol plus 2 melee sides. Rotations with this configuration are generally much faster because you can group the brothers together and output AoE DPS on both sides very effectively. But also, they come with an increased danger because the best strategies involve tanking 2 melee brothers for an extended period of time. Next, we have Aram plus Carol rotations, which always occur with a triple melee side. These are generally less dangerous because the melee brothers can be run easily to prevent specs, and on the Carol side there is only one melee brother to deal with. However, these rotations are generally slower because it minimizes the AoE damage on the Carol side because it is difficult to group the brothers together. For each brother configuration, I will go over the viable style choices and how each of the roles work in that specific style. With each style, there will be rough ability rotations, but remember when learning from these that they aren't exact. If you get adrenaline from Impatient or Asylum procs, the rotations can be improved, and they can also be hindered by things like eating and getting adrenaline drained by Torag, so sometimes other abilities must be substituted in their place. At the beginning of each trip, you will activate your aura. This is very important if it is Zerk aura such as Berserker, Reckless, or Maniacal. When activated, you want to Supreme Potion, then activate, and then activate their Berserk Blood Essence. By doing it in this order, you can retain the stat boost from the aura for about 3 kills as long as you refrain from brewing. Additionally, before every single kill, you need to make sure that your stats aren't drained by drinking a Super Restore. Then use your Supreme Potion, activate your Essence, and then activate your Scrimshaw. One last thing you need to do at the start of the kill is Adrenaline Pot. It is always better to have Adrenaline sooner rather than later because the kills are so short. Additionally, at the start of the kill you can anticipate to stall Adrenaline and to reduce damage by 10% for the first 10 seconds, but it isn't completely necessary. This is probably the fastest out of all the 4 sides if done properly. For this strategy, Soul Link is required because one player will be tanking all the brothers, and this will split the damage between you. Since Aram always spawns north, both players stand 1 square north of Aram at the beginning, which causes the 2 melee brothers to run north to Aram's location. Once in this position, both players can use AoE damage to drop the brothers as fast as possible. Throughout the kill, it is important that the brothers stay grouped together, especially after Aram spins. Also, for some reason, when the brothers are on top of each other, they sometimes move around instead of standing on top of each other in a stack. This can cause a brother to go north of your position. If this happens, just click on the brother that will allow you to damage all the brothers with AoE. It will be either the east or the west one. On this side, the best method without a doubt is for both players to use ranged with mechanized Chinchampas. As the person inciting, you press Soul Link, Protect Melee, Anguish, and optionally Protect Item. Since both you and your partner are ranging, it is important to follow a strict rotation so that bleeds don't get cancelled. An important part of chinning is switching weapons. We are using them to make our abilities AoE, but since some abilities are already AoE, we want to use those with either the Main-Tan Ascension or Saren Godbow equipped. Also, you should always attack the middle brother first, so that your corruption spreads to Aram quickly. With that in mind, the Incite Chin rotation is Auto Attack, Corrupt, Needle Strike, Snipe, Frag, Rapid Fire, Needle Strike, Snapshot, Corrupt, Ricochet. And towards the end of the kill, when the brothers are really low and there are only 1 or 2 alive, you want to Tendril on the last 2, or equip your main hand or bow and bombard. As the person inciting, you need to pay a bit more attention to special attacks, specifically spins. When Aram spins, you want to move the 2 melee brothers into AoE range as soon after he finishes his fire spin as possible. This means that you need to run into the spin, but with timing you can avoid taking damage. Additionally, melee spins will happen as well. Generally, both people should try to run in opposite directions, and be extra careful when Shadow Realm happens. While avoiding the spin, the brothers are often ungrouped, so it is a good idea to use your Ascension or bow for things like Snapshot and Frag during this time. If lightning happens, the best option is usually to just tank it, unless it's Shadow Realm. One last thing to watch out for are portal bombs. The last thing that you want is to be happily DPSing and then get killed by a bomb that you had no idea was there. As the person not inciting, you press Soul Link, Soul Split, Anguish, and optionally Protect item. In this role, it is important to follow an ability rotation as best you can so that you and your partner's bleeds don't override. However, this is a bit less crucial if your partner is maging because you can use both bleeds at the start. Again, like I said before, with mechanized chinchambas, it's important to switch weapons based on the abilities you are using. AoEs with Ascension or Siren Bow, and non-AoEs with Chins. Also, you can start on the middle or south brother depending on how fast you are with the Chin frag. That being said, the non-incite rotation goes Auto Attack, Frag Shot, Needle, Snipe, Corrupt, Rapid, Needle Strike, Snapshot, Ricochet, Corrupt. And towards the end of the kill, when the brothers are really low and there are only one or two alive, you want to Tendril on the last two, or equip your main hand or bow and bombard. This role is a bit more relaxed in terms of paying attention to specials. You can usually just take a few steps north if there is a spin, or just tank it if your partner is quick. Basically, you just DPS, so this is a good role for people that are trying to double chin for the first time. You can just focus on getting familiar with the weapon switching and ability rotations. Although the fastest way to do an Aaron +2 melee side is to double chin, having someone use magic with the double chin strategy of standing north in one spot for the duration of the fight and using Soul Link actually works really well, even though people don't do it often. Realistically, you should only use this method if not enough people on your team have range auras. In this strategy, you utilize your magic AoEs as a replacement for double chinning. In regards to special attacks and keeping the brothers together, you basically just do the same thing that the person inciting while ranging does. The rotation for this role is Auto Attack, Corrupt, Dragon Breath, Combust, Detonate with Auto Attack, Chain, Corrupt, Dragon Breath, Wild Magic, and then once the brother you are attacking dies, make sure you switch to the other melee brother, while the person ranging ensures that they switch to Aram. At that point, you can either use your thresholds or build the tsunami if the brothers are stacked. This side is only a bit slower or even just as fast as a double chin side if the RNG goes your way. However, it can be very dangerous and frustrating because of all the Carol and Melee brother specs that will happen. Generally, the more experienced or stronger team members tend to go on this side because of the difficulty and complication of Carol's special attack. This is arguably the hardest role that rots across all the rotations, especially when it's KTD, KTG, or KGD, so don't be disappointed in yourself if you die a few times. Definitely pray melee in this role. It's dangerous because you have to spend a lot of time standing still to position the brothers for the chinner, and Kirill specs happen in the middle of all this at the same time. First of all, you want to be on Ancients and using Blood Barrage. The auto attack can hit multiple targets, and it's also helpful in the Detonate rotation, which you may choose to use. Part of the difficulty at the start can be the Carol spawn point. Generally, it's the easiest when Carol is in the middle, and the hardest when Carol is in the north. In this role, the rotation that will get you the fastest no-stall kills is Auto Attack, Corrupt, Dragon Breath, Combust, Detonate, Chain, Corruption, Dragon Breath, and then Wild Magic. The Detonate part is a little tricky, and I recommend that you practice at dummies or telos before bringing it to the actual kill. As you release your Detonate, as the Detonate timer is about to tick to 27 on your ability bar, you cast your spell by pressing it on your ability bar, press Detonate and another ability all together to stack them all on the same tick. In the rotation, you will be using Chain, but the Detonate can be stacked with other abilities like Dragon Breath or Wild Magic as well. After you've used your Detonate, if Carol is alive, finish him off with a Sonic Wave and a Dragon Breath, and then start on the melee brothers. If their health seems to be happily low from all that massive damage you just dealt, then you can move on to just use Wild Magic and Asphyxiate to finish them off. However, if they still have high to medium health, I recommend that you build the Tsunami. Tsunami is a bit tricky to use, but I've found the easiest way is to simply click on one while you're running just before you're about to Tsunami. After the Tsunami, the kill should be just about complete. Going back to the start of the kill, you can alternatively replace the Detonate combo with Wild Magic, but this doesn't do as much AoE damage, so you'll likely have to build the Tsunami every time if you use that instead. Also, it's probably better to just stand still if using Wild Magic so that the Chin DPS is maximized. Now, unfortunately, the method I've just gone through is what a perfect kill would look like. Then, once Carol has finished bombing and the melee brothers are dead, you and your team members can use ultimates like Onslaught, Omnipower, and Deadshot to finish him off at the end of the kill. Alternatively, if Carol does lightning or spin, the goal is to position the brothers next to Carol just as the spec finishes and he is able to be damaged again, so that your partner doesn't lose out on any Chinchampa DPS. Optimally, if you haven't already used up your detonate, you can charge it to release with your detonate combo just as he is damageable again. If he spins, you should run around the fire into the spot perpendicular to Carol and closest to the rift. That will minimize the damage from the fire spin. If he does lightning, you will have to remember where he was before he teleported, and charge your detonate on a melee brother before releasing another detonate combo on the position he was before he spec'd. This brother positioning is all provided that the brothers don't spin during your detonate or as you're trying to position them next to Carol. If they do happen to spin, your best bet is to just finish off the melee brothers and leave Carol for last like you would do if it bombed. In this role, your job is basically to stand there and DPS the brothers while the person inciting positions them for the Chinchampas to do the best damage. To start, the best place to stand is generally in the center of the southern part of the arena. This allows your partner to go anywhere in the southern half of the arena without running your abilities. In this strategy, there are two basic options, Thresholds or Onslaught. The Thresholds option is going to get you the faster times provided that everything goes right. But the Onslaught method is still a very good option provided that your partner is experienced and knows what to do when you onslaught. First, a reminder that an important part of chinning is switching weapons. When using the Threshold method, the rotation goes Auto Attack, Corrupt, Frag, Snipe, Snapshot, optionally Tuska's Wrath, Needle, Rapid Fire, Snipe. And then after this, you should use Tendrils and Bombardment to finish off the remaining two brothers, as they should be pretty low HP. The Threshold method will work in every situation, regardless of whether your partner manages to stack the brothers effectively, because you can distribute your thresholds across Carol and the other two melee brothers as needed. Alternatively, the Onslaught method relies more on your partner stacking the brothers so that you get the most damage out of your onslaught. Personally, I generally use the Onslaught method if Carol does lightning or spin before I can get a threshold off. Instead, I use Auto Attack, Corrupt, Frag, Snipe, Needle Strike, Tuska's Wrath, Binding Shot, Needle Strike, Sacrifice, Corrupt, and then Onslaught with Chinchampas. You usually want to try and onslaught a brother that has over 25k life points, who will usually be Carol, but any of them will work. When you use Onslaught, your partner should run the melee brothers onto Carol so that it'll hit all three brothers, but be very careful when doing this, because a lot of damage gets done on you. If you have to cancel it, the brothers should be really low HP and you can just finish them off with basic abilities. This is by far the slowest side because of the lack of AoE damage that can be dealt throughout the kill. Because of this, the teammates generally kill Carol and then split to their own separate brothers and solo them. Also, both Aram and Carol have spins and teleports to the ledge that can completely stop you from being able to do damage in some situations. When they both spin, it can be difficult for both players to get in range of the melee brother safely. In this role, you can generally play Soul Split and Torment. If you're having trouble, just switch to Prey Melee. In this role, you can either walk Carol like you used to do, or just walk under Carol for a space, and then start running your melee brother. If you don't know how to walk using the old method, and want to use this strategy, I recommend going to watch QBD's walking guide from before the walking nerf. It's exactly the same technique. Whatever you decide to do, the rotation is the same. You use Corrupt, Dragon Breath, Combust, Wild Magic, Sonic Wave, and then Chain. At this point, Carol should be dead if he doesn't spec. If he doesn't spec, then just move on to your melee brother and run him so that he doesn't use any specials. At this point, you have two options, Onslaught or Metamorphosis. If your melee brother has already spec'd, or you have used your well-developed rot senses and feel that he won't spec for the rest of the kill, use both your bleeds, build up to 100%, and then Onslaught just as you stop running. If you decide to meta, you should refrain from using your bleeds but build to 100%. Try to time it so that your Sonic Wave will bring you to 100%, and then use Meta, Bleed, Sonic Wave, Other Bleed, Dragon Breath, Sonic Wave, and then Wild Magic. With luck and not many misses, this should kill your brother, and if not, you can finish him with your other thresholds. If Carol does spec, you should generally have time to finish your melee brother with your partner, and then you can finish killing Carol while your partner deals with Aram. This role varies a lot depending on how the specials occur throughout the fight. You can easily soul split in this role, and you generally stand in the south center of the arena. But remember, this is where a second spinning Aram or Carol will do his spin, so be careful. In this role, you don't need to use chins because there aren't enough brothers to stack, but you optionally can use them to help your partner out a bit with his brother. Anyways, the rotation you should use in this role is auto attack, corrupt, frag shot, snipe, snapshot, and then needle strike or dazing shot. Carol should generally be dead at this point. Now, depending on what Aram is doing once Carol dies, you will have a couple options. If Aram is ready to be attacked in his original spawn location or has just finished his spin, attack him until he is aired, and then onslaught. If Aram has just started spinning, or is on the ledge, attack and help your partner kill the melee brother, and then you both move on to Aram. If you attack Aram and he doesn't air at 45k life points for some reason, then you should move on to help your partner finish the melee brother before returning to Aram. If you don't kill Carol, then things are a bit different. If Carol bombs, then you should generally help your partner finish his melee brother and then move on to Aram and leave your partner to solo Carol. If Carol does lightning or spin, attack and air Aram if he is attackable, or the melee brother if Aram is unavailable. Then you should try to onslaught Aram as soon as you can, and try to do it in a position where a spin won't hurt you. If it does happen to bomb at the end of the kill in your onslaught, your partner should hop across and save you from the bombs. In comparison to the large amount of specs that happen on all the other sides, triple melee is by far the easiest to manage. On triple melee sides, the person inciting can run the brothers to prevent most of, if not all, the special attacks. While the person inciting is running the brothers, the other person should always be chinning, because it is one of the best situations for AoE DPS. Also, on this side, at least one person should always be able to hop and help with the other side if there are bombs. On this rotation, generally, you should always start on the middle brother, and then after about 3 abilities, or when he has around 25k life points, you should both switch to different brothers and keep doing AoE damage. This should kill all of the brothers at relatively the same time. When you melee, the most important thing is that you get the aggro of the melee brothers as soon as possible. This can be hard for some people because you have to run into the right places to hit all the brothers at the right time, but with practice anyone can do it. You can try to cleave them at the beginning, and if you miss them, run to hit the other brothers with Hurricane or Quake if they aggro on your partner. The rotation you want to use is Auto Attack, Cleave, Sever, Dismember, Hurricane, Cleave, Quake, and then Smash. After that, use both Blood Tendrils and Slaughter on the remaining melee brothers. Throughout the kill, it's important that you run the brothers to stop them from auto-attacking you, which in turn delays their special attacks. The key to doing this effectively is clicking far away from your character. Whether you click in big circles, across the map, or run in squares, all you have to do is make sure that you keep running and don't stop even when you switch targets. Also, when doing this, you need to keep in mind that your partner is using Chinchampas, which have short range, so don't run too far away from him. Using magic on triple melee makes it very easy to get aggro at the beginning with both Corrupt and Dragon Breath. This makes it easier for newer people when they start to incite at the beginning. The rotation that you should use in this role is Auto Attack, Corrupt, Dragon Breath, Combust, Wild Magic, Sonic, Dragon Breath, Chain, Corrupt, Sonic, Combust, Tsunami, and then Dragon Breath. It can be difficult to use Tsunami when you are running around. I found the easiest way to use it is to just click on the pile of brothers just before you use it. As with triple melee, throughout the kill it's important that you run the brothers to stop them from auto-attacking you, which delays their special attacks. The key to doing this effectively is to click far away from your character. Whether you click in big circles, across the map, or running in squares, just make sure that you keep running and don't stop even when you switch targets. Also, when doing this, you need to keep in mind that your partner is using Chinchampas, which have short range, so don't run too far away. This is probably the easiest role in all of Rots, so you can just use Soul Split and Anguish. Also, you can do some massive damage chinning the triple melee side. For the whole fight, you should be able to hit all 3 melee brothers with your Chinchampas. Like the other chinning roles, you want to use your Ascension or Bow for auto attacks, and AoE abilities like Corrupt and everything else with Chinchampas. The rotation that you should use as the chinner on the triple melee side is Auto Attack, Corrupt, Switch to Chin, Frag, Needle Strike, Snipe, Rapid Fire, Needle Strike, Snapshot, Tuska's Wrath, and then Tendrils. At this point, all the other brothers should be dead, or you can use bombardment on the remaining brothers. If bombs occur and you are confident that your partner can finish, hop across and help your teammates on the other side. That concludes this part of the ROTS guide, and I hope you learned enough to improve your techniques or become a pro ROTSer yourself. I'd like to thank everyone that helped develop these methods and participated in the kills with me, especially the squad, Camel, Cray, Thwast, Beach Please, Panic Peach, Wise Thoth, aka Victor, and started from the bottom, now he's here, my man Suggs.